Awards Group number 7. Valor and Meritorious honorees from the Denville Township Police Department. Valor honorees, Police Officer Adam A. Temporale and Police Officer Robert C. Tucker. Meritorious honoree, Police Officer Matthew S. Zerlo. Please come up to the stage. On September 28, 2019, at approximately 12 noon, Officer Adam Temporale and Trainee Officer Robert Tucker were on patrol observing traffic on Route 10 westbound when they saw a vehicle commit 2 motor vehicle violations. A motor vehicle stop was conducted, and in the initial phase of the stop, all went very rudimentary for a normal stop. Officer Tucker initiated contact with the driver, asking for his credentials and advising him of the reason for the stop. The driver complied without incident or complaint. Upon returning to their patrol car, they learned that the driver's license of the operator was suspended. At this point, Officer Temporale began explaining to Officer Tucker the procedures that would need to be completed moving forward. After summonses were written and the procedures were discussed, Officer Temporale spoke with the driver while Officer Tucker was his cover officer, observing the interaction between them. Officer Temporale asked the driver to exit his vehicle due to his license suspension. As he began to exit, the driver reached in and grabbed a handgun, which was later determined to be a pellet gun. Officer Temporale immediately yelled "gun" and grabbed the driver and the hand in which he held the gun. The two began struggling, and the driver yelled, "Shoot me!" Another suicide by cop reference. Officer Tucker drew his weapon but didn't fire because Officer Temporale was engaged in a struggle with the driver. Officer Temporale was able to disarm the driver and secure the weapon, but both officers had to engage the driver as he began fighting them. The three of them went to the ground, with the driver continuing to arrest by kicking, throwing punches, and attempting to grab the officer's gun. The driver then broke free and pulled a knife from his pocket. He continued asking the officers to shoot him, but didn't advance at them. As more officers arrived on scene, the driver put the knife to his throat, and it became obvious that he was attempting to commit suicide by cop. The officers recognized this and began switching their tactics from possibly taking a life to saving a life. We refer to the fact that police officers wear 2 hats. They wear the hat of a warrior when people have guns and knives, and they wear the hat of guardian when people are having mental health issues. Officer Matthew Zerlo arrived as backup and began negotiating with the driver. Due to the interactions between Officer Temporale and the driver, it was clear that Officer Zerlo had a great connection with the driver. For 30 minutes, they discussed why it would be best for the driver, who was now considered a victim, to drop the knife and seek help for the issues he was having. Officer Zerlo's life experiences and police training enabled him to convince the driver to drop his knife. He was then taken into custody, charged and processed, but was also taken to a hospital to receive the psychological help he needed. Officer Temporale and Tucker immediately responded to a threat of deadly force, putting their lives in danger, and ultimately saved the life of a man who put them in danger in the first place. They, along with Officer Zerlo, are to be commended for their heroism and sound judgment during a life-threatening situation which resulted in saving the life of another. The 200 Club of Morris County hereby awards the coveted Valor Award to Police Officer Adam A. Temporale and Police Officer Robert C. Tucker, and the Meritorious Award to Police Officer Matthew S. Zerlo. Congratulations.
Chief Frank Perna of the Denville Township Police Department.
I'd like to thank the 200 Club Association. I'd like to thank these two fine officers who put their lives on the line. I'd like to thank all of Denville Police Department. Thank you very much.